Hello, Steve at Spark Studios here in Studio 4, the one with the windows. So this is going to be a little crash course in how to develop some soloing, improvising. And to do this, we use something called the blues scale, which is where we all start to develop these things. It's not exclusive to blues music at all. Funk, rock, jazz, whatever you want to do, it all kind of starts from here. It's based on a pentatonic scale, which is a 5-note scale, and it has an added 6th note to it to make it a little bit more bluesy, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a crash course in how to get started with this. Okay, the scale itself, I'm playing it in the key of A here, which is the 5th fret. Sounds like this. That's the sound of your blues scale. And what we'll do is we'll take it over to the rest of the strings as well, over 2 octaves. Kind of looks like this. I don't know if you can see that. Where are we? Okay, so I'm going to write a few things out. I'll scan this and stick it online, so if anybody wants a little diagram, I'll use this. I might be writing on this in a second. So where do we start with this blues scale thing? Okay, it's difficult to develop your soloing when you don't have anybody else to play with. So I've created a few backing tracks which are going to be available for download as well. They kind of sound a bit like this. Just stuff you can mess around with. That kind of stuff, you know. Okay, so I was just using notes from the blues scale there, and having a bit of fun actually. It's sounding quite nice in the headphones. But where do we start with this thing? You know, I've seen people get up and running with these blues scales, and because we have this long line of notes, where are we? Here. People tend to sort of approach things like playing like this. It's important to go up and down the scale, practice it, maybe alternating your picking as you do it, so we understand how the scale flows. If you can do up and down picks, fabulous. But don't worry if, to begin with, you just need to find your way with things. Concentrate on getting good notes, playing at the front of the fret, not the back of the fret. Front of the fret, you get some good notes. At the back, it can sound a bit funky at times. Okay, so when I get people up and running with blues scales, first of all, it's about putting the scale beneath your fingers, going up and down and up and down and up and down, so you don't really have to think too hard about the positioning of where things are. It should fall out of your fingers fairly naturally, so that takes a while to get that scale feeling fluent. Okay, but then what do you do with these notes? Okay, first of all, I'm going to start us here. Okay, that note there, which I think is just about in tune. That note we're going to call home, okay? I'm going to write this on the piece of paper and stick it in front of the camera again. Okay, so whatever happens, we're going to end on home at the beginning. So I'm going to give us 4 notes to play around with that are centered around this note here. Okay, we're going to use the one behind it, which is on the 5th fret. Home, 5th fret, and then the same on the string beneath this. Okay, there's home again. Right beneath home, we've got this little note here, which bends really nicely. I used to get frustrated when I first started playing solos that I would start every solo doing that. It's kind of nice. Incidentally, when you're bending strings, there's nothing wrong with getting a finger behind that one just to help you lift up the string. And when you're bending a string, it's important to guide the string up the metal of the fret itself. So practice bending it up and bringing it back down again, okay? Because quite often when you first start bending, it will disappear. So guide the string along the metal of the fret itself. Okay, so here's the first phrase I'm going to get you to start messing around with. I'll put the backing track on in a minute, but it's this phrase here. It goes. So I'm bending, our little bendy note here, we'll call it bendy note. Falling back on the same string to fret 5, resolving at home. We've got to get the bend to go to the right destination as well. If it falls too short, actually sounded alright to be honest. I guess it's a blue note. If you go too far, obviously that sounds hideous, so don't do that. Okay, so over and over again. If you want to get that second finger to support that string, so we're going to try and place that on top of the backing track. I'm going to play this funky thing. Where you feel you should put it in, stick it in there. Don't be afraid of space. That's where we're all going anyway, baby. So that'll get you up and running, okay? That little freeze phrase. Now let's give you an answer to that phrase. Often what I talk about with improvisation is creating a bit of a dialogue with yourself, where you're possibly asking yourself a question with a phrase that ascends and answered by a phrase that descends. So let's have a descending phrase. We ascend. Here's our next phrase to answer that one. So we're resolving at home, but we're starting right behind the home note on fret number 5 and introducing this technique called a hammer-on. So that's one pluck, 2 notes. Coming down on the face of my 3rd finger there. So I'm hammering, bringing my 1st finger down to get this note here on the 5th fret. So again, just to recap, I'm concentrating on 4 notes here, just to get us up and running. So concluding phrase here. Hammer 5 to 7, down a string, back home. So that will answer our our first phrase. So this will get you up and running, utilizing this wonderful scale, the blues scale. You can slow it down, you can play it fast. Of course, every guitar player wants to play as fast as possible. Start off playing slowly though. Take care of your notes. Make sure they sound good. Okay, let your ear be the judge. Slow it down even more. So along to the track. Come on, Ringo. obviously I was going off piste a little bit there, but just developing the phrases, and that's what it's going to be about from here on your blues journey or on your rock journey, whatever journey you want to go on. Okay, it's all about developing a collection of phrases which become your vocabulary. So when you can draw upon 1,000 different phrases to stick into your improvisation, mix them up, pull them apart, do whatever you want with it, really. So I'm going to scan that, and I'll put some a few notes on it, saying things like home and bendy note and whatever, and you can have a little look at that. And I'll make the backing track available. There's about 10 minutes of this thing that Ringo's doing here. I've deliberately made a long backing track because you don't want to have like 2 minutes and then have to rewind. This is all about how much time you can put into developing your craft here. So over the course of the next few days, weeks, who knows, I'm going to upload a few different ideas with blues scale improvisations to keep you all, or those of you who want to play the guitar and develop your soloing, keep you interested. Of course, just throw caution to the wind and see what your fingers will play as well. It's all about experimentation. That's why I've given you, I think it's about 10 minutes, this backing track. So put it on. Try these riffs. See where it takes you. Okay, right, I better go and put my daughter to bed now. But yeah, stay tuned to this thing here, and I'll give some more crash courses in blues scale stuff, improvising, focusing on lead work, but I'll throw a few crash courses up in playing along with chords as well, which is very, very important. Anyway, stay safe.